Welcome back to the program. What I can tell you is this. They are worried. The left is very worried. They have lost control. They have completely lost control over these federal agencies because now these federal agencies are being run by President Trump and his administration. And even better than that, when Elon Musk and Doge went into these organizations and these agencies, they locked them out. And when locking them out, they discarded their key codes, their usernames, their passwords. All of it was deleted. So they have no access to what is actually being found. They have no idea what type of incriminating crimes and evidence is being collected on a daily basis. And how do you know they're worried? Well, first and foremost, what is the number one search on Google in Washington, D.C.? Defense attorneys. Okay? They know what's up. And here's even better. Mad Maxine Waters, James Brown's wig, as I like to call her. Listen what she said today.
The people of this country are being violated because all of our privacy is being taken up by Elon Musk and Trump, and we don't know what all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us. What all they have on us. We don't know what all they have on us.
They don't know, or no, I'm sorry, we don't know what they, meaning Doge, Elon Musk, the investigators, have on us. Well, Mad Max, I can assure you, you probably need to lawyer up because I'm sure there's a lot that we have on you and many, many others because you don't know what's happening because we locked you out. Thank goodness we were smart enough to lock them all out. And so they have no idea what type of evidence is being collected. Now, there was some good news today. One of the judges that I actually attacked on social media, this is this George A. O'Toole Jr., has dissolved his restraining order blocking the deferred resignations. That is the federal workers buyout program, which I think somewhere around 60,000 accepted before this judge stepped in and interfered. And I'm also hearing that after the 60,000, they got another request for 14,000 more. So now that he has rescinded this, you've got 74,000 federal workers going to be out. This is wonderful, wonderful news. U.S. District Judge George A. O'Toole Jr. dissolves his restraining order blocking the deferred resignations program after finding the plaintiffs lacking legal standing. So even this judge understood that he was going to get absolutely smoked at the higher courts, okay? And he was going to be overturned. So here is what he was saying. Let's see. The plaintiffs here are not directly impacted by the directive, and the plaintiffs are the unions. The unions are the ones that brought this. So in other words, the federal workers said, okay, fine, we'll take the buyout. And the union said, no, not so fast. We don't want you to take these buyouts. And so this is what we're talking about here. Let me grab it right here. The unions do not have the required direct stake in the fork directive, but are challenging a policy that affects others, specifically executive branch employees. This is not sufficient for standing. Therefore, he said, he is revoking his temporary restraining order previously entered. It is being dissolved, and further preliminary injunction relief is denied. That's a huge win, folks. That's a huge win. Close to 75,000 federal workers. Bye-bye. See you later. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. That's wonderful news. And I got news for you. these judges that are stepping in and trying to stop it, they're all going to be overturned, okay? At some point at the higher levels of the courts, they're all going to be overturned, in my opinion. And again, when I make these opinions, I'm usually spot on when I make them, because I don't just base them off of feeling. I look through and I study it and I look at it and I realize that every single president, every single executive branch has the authority by law, by the Constitution, to decide when they are president to audit and review all spending in every single federal agency. That is fact, that is law, that is Constitution. And so what these judges are doing is usurping the power of the executive branch of the president. No one gives them the authority to do that. None. Okay? And that's why the Trump administration, at least at this point, has basically said, we're not going to listen to you because you don't have the authority. So wanted to kind of point that out. The other thing is Pam Bondi, Attorney General Pam Bondi, is now suing New York, and she is suing Kathy Hochul, Letitia James, and the person in charge of what is known, and I'm going to turn the volume down because there's going to be double ads, I'm sure, but what is known to be the green light law. And the green light law in the state of New York basically states, sadly, that if ICE or Border Patrol or whatever is coming and looking for an illegal alien, that, believe it or not, the Department of Motor Vehicles green lights to the illegal alien, hey, they're looking for you. Unbelievable. Think about how dangerous that is for the officers. I mean, it's sick. It's twisted that they would do that. So anyway, so Pam Bondi is suing the state of New York just like she did to the state of Illinois. And from that, she's going to sue them to basically, at least at this point, make sure that they follow the rules and follow the law. Now, these are not criminal prosecutions, sadly. Do I think they could be coming? Yes. But I think they're going to be coming in different lawsuits. In other words, this one is criminal from the standpoint of we just want you to enforce the law and allow us to do immigration policy. You can't stand in the way of that. And she believes, as I believe she's correct, that she will be successful in these lawsuits. That doesn't mean that Letitia James and Hochul and the rest of them are off the hook, because there's definitely prosecutorial misconduct, abuse of power, obstruction of justice, election interference, all these cases that they brought against Trump. She can absolutely and probably will still go after these people. But in the meantime, she is starting, I guess you could say, she's giving them a warning first. Okay, that's probably the best way to explain it. So let's see here. Let's see, where is she? I'll give you some. Here we go. Okay.
And it's my understanding that he also admitted to other murders. Correct? Multiple murders.
He wrote a letter.
Okay, so this is a victim, an angel mom that was talking, and here's Pam.
And that's who we were letting walk into our country. And that's why President Trump has directed this to stop. And if you don't comply with federal law, we will hold you accountable. We did it to Illinois. Strike one. Strike two is New York. And if you are a state not complying with federal law, you're next. Get ready. And the great men and women of law enforcement are standing behind me today. We have FBI, DEA, ATF agents. They put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. And what New York has, they have green light laws, meaning they're giving a green light to any illegal alien in New York, where law enforcement officers cannot check their identity if they pull them over. law enforcement officers do not have access to their background. And if these great men and women pull over someone and don't have access to their background, they have no idea who they're dealing with. And it puts their lives on the line every single day. Violent criminals, gang members, drug traffickers, human smugglers will no longer terrorize the American people. And that is why we are here today. You will be held accountable if you do not follow federal law. It's over, it ends, and we're coming after you. Questions?
So then she takes questions after that. But part of that green light rule is that the director of the Department of Motor Vehicles in the state of New York actually contacts the illegal alien and lets them know that ICE is looking for them. So, I mean, I can't even believe it. I can't even believe it. I mean, I can believe it, but I can't believe it. So thankfully, that is all stopping because that is just unbelievably dangerous. Now let's talk about something else here. GOP Congressman Brandon Gill. This is a rising star. Keep your eye out for this guy. His name is Brandon Gill. I talked about him maybe about 4 or 5 shows ago. This guy is awesome, okay? MAGA to the core. He is going after Ilhan Omar. Gee, where have we heard that name before? Well, maybe because she basically derailed my career for 4 solid years. And now he is going after her, and he has a petition to arrest and deport her, okay? Because she is a terrorist. I've said that before. Gill, a first-term congressman and son-in-law of conservative filmmaker Dinesh D'Souza, that I didn't know, asked supporters to sign a petition to deport Omar in a fundraising email obtained by Axios. And it says, friend, we should have never let Ilhan Omar into our country. And frankly, America would be a better place if she were to be sent back to Somalia. Recently, it came out that Ilhan Omar is hosting free workshops for Somalians who are in our country illegally on how to evade and escape ICE and deportation. It could not be more blatant. Ilhan Omar is more loyal to illegal Somalians than she is to the United States or the office that she was elected to serve. She is an absolute disgrace. In another email, Gill accuses Omar of treason for facilitating the invasion at the southern border of millions of illegal aliens. A second member of Congress is facilitating a full-scale invasion of our country. A sitting member, sorry. A normal society would refer to that as treason. So this congressman wants to try to deport her. Now, for the folks that don't know, I mean, I'm sure you do, she was a huge reason why I was so censored. You've probably heard the story, so I don't want to go through it too much. But basically, I was going over a video by James O'Keefe at the time, who was talking about a ballot harvesting operation in Little Mogadishu, which is the St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota area. And it is the largest, by far, the largest Somali population in the entire world outside of the country of Somalia. And you can thank Barack Obama for bringing over 200,000 of them in during his second term. Anyway, she's a terrorist. She's an infiltrator. And when she came here, the media lied about her and who she is. And they said that she came from war-torn Somalia for a better life in America to escape the violence. But that was all bullshit. She was war-torn Somalia. Her father, Muhammad Nuar, was the former propaganda minister for the dictatorship under Saeed Bayar's dictatorship, which was in the process at that time of being overthrown. So if they didn't leave Mogadishu, they would have been executed, okay? And the E word is where I got in trouble. So long story short, they lied on their N-400 immigration forms. Have you ever been close to or associated with any type of totalitarian or authoritarian regime? They answered no to that. Well, that was a lie. And so they could be deported for that alone. Congressman Gill, go look at her N-400 immigration authorization form, and when it says no, you can deport her for that alone, okay? But anyway, so then she came here, and I'll use these words, infiltrated Congress. She ran for Congress, and she infiltrated Congress, and she's never, ever in her entire time and tenure been a supporter of the United States of America. She has done nothing but pal around with terrorists. She absolutely detests and hates Jews. She's part of the squad. She believes in the BDS movement, which is a sanctioning movement against the country of Israel. And she's just terrible. She's horrible. She did marry her brother. I've seen the marriage certificates. Okay? And so at the time, I said she should be investigated. She should be indicted. She should be arrested. And if found guilty, she should go to jail for the rest of her life, or better yet, the E word. And so from that, once that came out, Right Wing Watch did a story on it. It immediately went to Media Matters and the left-wing media, sycophants and all that. It got to her. She retweeted the article, and she had like millions of followers on old Twitter. She probably still does. And from that, they started to attack me at Amazon support, at Roku support, at YouTube support, at Facebook support, at Patreon support, at whatever, all of them. And you all know the rest of the story. And so the fact that a congressman, a first-term congressman nonetheless, wants to deport her, I say do it. Grab her by her hijab and throw her out of the country once and for all. I hate her. She's an absolute disgusting excuse for a human being. If I saw her on fire in front of me, I wouldn't piss on her. Okay? That's the reality. I don't want to go too far, but I'll leave it at that. So anyway, what's next here? We did dodge a bullet because these people are flat out communists. You know that bald-headed hood rat, right? Ayanna Pressley, part of the squad. Yeah, a real winner. A face only a mother could love. Anyway, I want you to listen to what this psycho, absolute psycho, said, okay? You want to talk about communism? Listen to this.
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. About doing the work of censoring the American people, who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American about doing the work of censoring the American, doing the work of censoring the American people, of censoring the American, of censoring the American, of censoring the American people and advance.
Censoring the American people. There you have it. Did we dodge a huge fucking bullet this year, 2024, November 5th? Oh my God, did we? Okay? This country would have been done. Okay? Done. We are talking revolution, and we're not talking about a Doge type of revolution, if you know what I mean. It would have gone down. Thank you, God, that President Trump won the election and that the American people suffered enough, had enough pain to actually go out and vote in huge enough numbers to stop the fraud and be too big to rig, as President Trump says. You heard it herself. We will work with anyone who is willing to censor the American people.
One who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
Censoring the American people and advancing progress. Well, progress means censoring the American people and bringing full-blown communism into the country where we murder and execute our political adversaries. She didn't say that part, but trust me, folks, that's exactly what she means, okay? That's what she means. She is an evil, disgusting excuse for a human being. And, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that. She makes me so absolutely angry It's unbelievable. So let's see. Was there anything else? Yes, there was this. Why the healthcare industry is letting RFK Jr. cruise to confirmation. And by the way, believe it or not, it's late at night right now. They are actually debating in the Senate for RFK Jr., who's supposed to have his vote tomorrow. Okay? So tomorrow is the confirmation for RFK Jr. They're going to do their vote to confirm him. I'm telling you right now, he's going to be confirmed. Okay? You heard it from me right now. He will be confirmed. Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed 52-48. I honestly was surprised. I didn't think she was going to get any extra votes. We already know that the Kentucky Fried Chicken Mitch McConnell gave her the only no vote from the GOP. Is it even worth going after him? Not really. The guy's, 917 years old? I mean, he sits there and freezes. He's in a wheelchair. He falls down all the time. I mean, he's worse than Biden in a lot of ways. So he's not going to rerun. He's not going to rerun. I doubt he's going to rerun. Seriously. I think he's had enough. I think he's old enough. And he is the poster board of why we need term limits. Him, Chuck, and Nancy all together are the reason we need term limits. So anyway, I found this pretty interesting that the quote-unquote healthcare industry, Big Pharma, were not really attacking him. They're actually afraid of him. Okay? Listen to this. From drug makers to doctors, few healthcare groups are asking senators to block RFK Jr. from becoming HHS secretary. Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s expected Senate confirmation on Thursday to lead the nation's health agencies threatens to upend America's $4 trillion healthcare industry. The industry is doing little, if nothing, to even stop it. From drug makers to doctors' organizations, groups thought to have the clout to steer policy and funding in Washington because they enjoyed bipartisan support and huge lobbying budgets have remained completely silent on Kennedy. They haven't spoken up, and even though he has accused them of fraud and conspiracies and promised to hold them accountable, they're not saying anything. That's not because they're not worried. They are. But because they didn't think that they could stop him. Or they think that the cost of speaking out against him would be too steep. These are people that spoke, granted anonymity to speak candidly. By staying quiet, they hope to limit the fallout if Kennedy follows through on his plans to strip the industry to the studs. According to Dr. George Benjamin, quote, they think he's the wrong person for the job. This is the executive director of the American Public Health Association, one of the few groups to openly decree Kennedy's bid to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. With good respect to all of my colleagues, they're making the false assumption that if they stay silent, that they will somehow get something in return. The healthcare industry's muted response to Kennedy is also a reflection of how much President Donald Trump has sacrificed traditional GOP constituencies to raise a populist working class revolt on the interests that once held sway in the Capitol, and how much Republicans in Congress have gone along with it. Kennedy has suggested that hospitals, doctors, and drug makers all work together to keep Americans sick, arguing that the industry's influence needs to be stripped away from federal policymaking, insinuating that health institutions intentionally bury inconvenient evidence and propose lopping off entire parts of the health regulatory structure. And yet, the country's most prominent professional societies for doctors, the American Medical Association, has not taken a stance against Kennedy's nomination. Likewise, the Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America, the brand name drug lobby once seen as all too powerful in D.C., has only said that it, quote, wants to work with Trump and his team, end quote. Even the American Academy of Pediatrics, whose members provide the childhood vaccines that Kennedy has claimed numerous times can cause autism, are not opposing him. The group launched a campaign to promote vaccinations that coincided with Kennedy's confirmation hearings, but it did not call for the Senate to reject him. None of the groups would agree to speak on the record about Kennedy. Kennedy supporters say that the nominee's industry-challenging stances are necessary to achieve his goals for America's health care. Bobby and President Trump have gone up against the largest and most powerful industries in the country, and they are winning. Callie Means, an advisor to Kennedy, posted on X last week. The result is the chance of a healthier future for our children. So that's interesting. They have basically given up. They said, you know what? We're not going to beat him. So we're either going to join him or we're going to hope that he doesn't completely upend the entire industry. Well, let's hope that he does, because America needs to get healthy, okay? Americans need to have good water. They need to have good food supply. We need to get rid of this bioengineered garbage that's in 75 to 80% of all the food that you see in the supermarkets. We got to get rid of all the seed oils, cottonseed. I don't even know. My wife knows them all. There's so many of them. There's cottonseed. There's corn oil. There's palm oil. There's grapeseed oil. There's, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of the different seed oils out there. And they've been proven to be endocrine disruptors. And so they can cause cancer. They can cause blockages in your body. They're poison. So I'll give you this little tip, and this is just something that my wife taught me. When looking at ingredients on anything you're going to eat, the shorter the list of ingredients, the healthier that food is. Okay? If it's a very short list, 4, 5, 6, 7 tops of ingredients, then it's probably very good for you. But if it has, I don't know, 40 to 50 to 60 to 70 different things, and red this and yellow that and purple this and blue that, don't touch it. And then look very carefully. If it says bioengineered ingredients, don't eat it. It's fucking poison, okay? It is poison. And if you can, this is something my wife and I have been doing. We've been searching, her more than me, we've been looking for restaurants, if we want to go out to eat, that use beef tallow, okay, for their fries or for their burgers or whatever. And it's not like we want to eat it all the time, but we're not going to go to McDonald's, we're not going to go to Jack in the Box, we're not going to go to Burger King or any of the Wendy. No, they don't use that. But who does? Not many. I think In-N-Out Burger does, and what was the other one? Believe it or not, Buffalo Wild Wings, for their wings and burgers, they use beef tallow as well. And there might be one or two others. But you're going to start to see more and more and more of these restaurants start adapting more healthier ingredients. At least that's what we hope. So, as I've said before, RFK Jr. can literally be one of, if not the most, other than his uncle, JFK, the most consequential Health and Human Services Secretary in American history. And right up there with one of the great Kennedys. Obviously, his uncle was great. Ted Kennedy was terrible. The rest of the Kennedys suck. Joe Kennedy was really horrible. Really, only JFK was good. But let's see if RFK Jr. Can actually live up to that as well. Time will tell. Those are my thoughts. What are yours? Put them down in the comments below. We'll see you in the next one.